So, triangulation. We all have perspective. Hopefully a flexible one, and hopefully one that has many facets and nuances, because life is like that. But we don't have, most of us, unless we're fully enlightened, don't have a universal perspective, we don't encompass everything. We're going to run into other perspectives that may clash. When I was starting out in my bodywork career, I remember getting cranky when a client would report something that made no sense according to what I saw, and I figured, they're just, they don't know what's going on inside. I was right, they were wrong. Over time, I started to realize that was hugely valuable information, because they were telling me what that internal world looked like from where they were. And I could see their internal world from where I was. And since we were looking at that internal world from very different places, if I added those two pieces of perspective together, I got a much bigger sense of how they worked and how things were in there and where they were available, what they needed. So super helpful. The only problem with a different perspective is that most of the time we decide that there can be only one. There can be only one. Which is ridiculous. I mean, look at the world. There's never going to be one perspective. So instead of contesting or feeling judged or blowing people off, recognize that their perspective is true for them. From where they sit, the path they've walked, the context they're in, their stories and beliefs and values. And then, anyone's perspective is useful information. Doesn't mean you have to sort of take it all in with equal fervor, but nobody's contesting anything. And it's not because truth doesn't exist, or everybody's equally right or whatever. It's because we all have our lenses. Perception is not perfect or neutral or whatever those words mean. We need to share our humanity and not decide that whatever little island we're standing on is all there is. That we were all standing on ground, different terrain, different environment, different views and vistas, different limitations and barriers. And that if I am willing to accept somebody else's experience, I don't have to agree with their actions or their values. Their values don't have to fit me, and I don't have to get behind them. But if I can accept their experience and see how it relates to mine, I've learned something about people and about so many different ways that life can look to experience. And the things that don't change much. Because there are things that don't, underneath whatever the individual circumstances of a person are, whatever terrain they're in the middle of trying to navigate, whatever it is they think they want. You start to see from many, many different perspectives what's at the middle of all of this. And that's a wonderful thing. Empathy, compassion, expanding my sense of self. So, I'm talking mostly about doing this with other people, and other perspectives, but I can do this within myself as well. One day I feel like this, the next day I feel like that. The mind goes, what the hell? This makes no sense. It's just different views. And realizing that the more I give myself the opportunity to experience deeply different facets of my own function, the physical, the spiritual, the emotional, the cognitive, and all of those from different aspects. How is it to move this way, to move that way, to move in this environment, to try that story on, about good movement or, try stuff. The more I do that, the more I'm able to digest a bigger picture. So, hope this helps.